The Bhardwaj, also known as a full twisting pack salto, has grown in popularity since 2017, but it officially entered the code all the way back in 2004, after American gymnast Mohini Bhardwaj successfully performed it at the Olympics. It carries an E rating in the 2025 Code of Points, but asking for an upgrade would not be unreasonable if there wasn't an E cap on uneven bar transitions. It's a very deduction-prone skill, with the most notable execution faults in the majority of performances being the separation of the legs and the bent arms while re-grasping the bar. Both can incur a 1 to 3/10 deduction. It's also worth mentioning that it's much harder to connect out of, so unless the gymnast is able to really master this skill, upgrading a regular pack salto with a D rating to a Bhardwaj might not be worth the extra 10th in difficulty, since the amount of deductions will also increase. Nonetheless, when performed correctly, it is a beautiful transition to watch. The Van Leeuwen ranks among the most popular uneven bar transitions in women's gymnastics due to its potential to be linked to other skills. It consists of a pike sole circle backward with flight and a half turn to hang on the high bar, and was created by Dutch gymnast Laura van Leeuwen at the 2004 Olympics. The most difficult tasks for the athlete are to maintain the legs glued together during the flight phase, and to avoid bending the arms during the process of catching the high bar. With an E rating, the Van Leeuwen has really become a staple in most routines since 2009, and by the look of things, it will continue to stay relevant for many cycles to come. In 2011, German athlete Elisabeth Seitz added an extra half turn to the Van Leeuwen and stamped her name in the rulebook of the discipline with a new skill. The Seitz consists of a pike sole circle backward with flight and a full turn to hang on the high bar. One would think adding an extra half twist would automatically increase the rating of the skill, since there's an additional level of complexity, but the previously mentioned E cap on transitions prevents this from happening. As a result, few gymnasts have gravitated toward this element, and even its creator eventually stopped performing it. Maintaining the legs together and a fully straight body position during the flight phase and on the regrasp seem to be common issues associated with this very complex transition. The Komova I was submitted at the 2010 Youth Olympics by Russia's Victoria Komova. It starts from an in-bar route and consists of a clear pike circle backward with flight and a half turn to hang on the high bar. This is another instance where the existing E cap on transitions hurts the popularity of the element. In-bar positions require a lot more flexibility and are way harder to achieve than stalders, toe-ons, and hip circles. Yet, all of the corresponding transitions with a half turn are rated the same. So unless some revisions to this rule are made, don't expect to see the Komova I in any routine. The Komova II was born 1 year later at the 2011 World Championships, and carries an E rating as well. It's similar to the Komova I, minus the half twist mid-air, but is significantly more popular. This skill was a key component of the widely spread Russian composition that dominated the sport for more than a decade, and featured multiple back-to-back transitions, notably the Komova II, followed by a pack salto to an immediate Van Leeuwen. In recent years, however, we've witnessed a decrease in popularity, since the connection bonuses attributed to these combos have been lowered from 0.2 to 0.1. For this reason, gymnasts have shifted their focus to different skills and combos in order to maximize their start values. Commonly known as a Chow Half, this E-rated transition consists of a stalder backward with flight and a half turn to hang on the high bar. It entered the code during the 2009 to 2012 quad, after Russia's Aliya Mustafina and China's Yao Jinan both performed it at the London Games. However, neither got it named after them, since at the time, a new skill had to be performed exclusively by one gymnast to carry her name in the code. This rule has been changed in the meantime, so it would have been named the Mustafana Yao if it had been performed after 2016. While the von Leeuwen starts from a toe-on route, and the Chow Half from a stalder one, the Khorkina II starts from a clear hip circle on the low bar. The second half of the skill, however, is the same, with flight and a half turn to hang on the high bar. It was created by Russia's Svetlana Khorkina, who used to straddle her legs mid-flight as she was significantly taller than the average gymnast. It's valued at E and also referred to as a Shaposhnikova half. Described as a swing forward with 1.5 rotations and flight over the low bar, the strong is a transition we haven't seen in competition since the 90s, and it will likely stay that way. Only a handful of athletes, including Canada's Laurie Strong, who invented this E-rated skill back in the 80s, have performed it in competition. The reality is, this transition wouldn't fit most compositions nowadays, since it's practically impossible to link to another element on the low bar, and gymnasts rely heavily on connecting skills to boost their start values. In addition, it can be tricky to maintain a clean form all the way. So, given athletes don't get extra points for having original compositions and performing rare elements, we may never see the strong in competition ever again. The Teza-Pak was upgraded from D to E in the 2022 Code of Points, and rightfully so, since it's an extremely intricate skill. From clear rear pike support on the high bar with legs together, it consists of a circle swing backward, followed by a salto stretched between the bars, to clear support on the low bar. It could simply be described as a German giant to an immediate pack salto, and carries the name of French gymnast Elvire Teza since the 90s. Like the strong, and for similar reasons, it hasn't been performed in decades, and it doesn't look like that will change in the foreseeable future. There's also a Bail version of the Teza-Pak, finishing in a handstand position on the low bar. However, this one is not officially named after the French athlete, even though she originated it. It was upgraded from D to E in 2022 as well, but don't expect to see it anytime soon. Elements like these would certainly be a breath of fresh air and even cool to watch, but are simply not worth performing in the current era of the sport, when there are so many equally high-rated but less complex options to choose from. Also, any athlete prone to shoulder issues should definitely stay away from these transitions. What's your favorite uneven bars transition from this list?